time of tradition. There were three filmmakers with nothing in common. They thought they had it all figured out. They don't just follow the movies, they make them. Alexander Pavlak, Mario Silvas, and Jamal Alexander are the makers on film.
Welcome everybody to Makers on Film, where once a week we discuss movies, television, and all forms of pop culture nerdity. I am Jamal. I will be trolling you this evening. I am our resident actor. I am joined by my co-hosts, Alexander Pavlak, our resident director. Say hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
And joining us both is our resident jackass of all trades, Mario. Say hi. All right. And now I hand things over to our moderator, editor, and our resident bitch, I guess, Alex.
Oh, gee, thanks. First off, did you say nudity or nerdity?
Nerdity. I said nerdity.
Because it sounded like nudity, and I didn't realize that you guys were also naked.
I'm pantless. Does that count?
Close enough.
I could tell you which forms of nudity I'm in right now. I don't think you guys want to visualize. I'm actually looking up scores right now. Give me 1 second.
Scores?
Yeah, I'm a sports guy, even though I don't look it.
So speaking of sports, what'd you think of that fight yesterday?
I called it. Long, boring Mayweather fight. That's all he's ever in.
I'm surprised anybody thought Mayweather wasn't going to win. Apparently, there's a lot of uproar in the whole thing.
I know a guy at work that won like $500 on it. Like, who the hell bets against him? He's not going to fight. He's just gonna, back away the whole thing.
Oh, you talking about that bullshit of a fight?
Yep. It was announced. Even before that, I called it. He's just gonna lean back the entire fight, and it's just gonna be a long, boring Mayweather fight like every other fight he's in.
Yep.
All right, so today is May the 4th, so May the 4th be with you too.
Woo!
Star Trek is still clearly better.
Well, I was going to say that we should start things off by announcing very
It's
sadly.
my mom's birthday today. Oh, wait, that's what I said. No, go on.
Is it your mom's birthday today?
Yeah, my mom's actually born on May 4th.
Is she a Star Wars fan?
She's into, I don't know. Well, she likes, like, the spectacle stuff, so, yeah, like, when the new Star Wars comes out, I'm probably going to take her to it.
Okay.
Very cool.
I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't do a trailer for today, a new one.
Right? That'd have been cool.
Yeah, but I was going to say that Grace Lee Whitney died on the 1st. She played Yeoman Janice Rand on Star Trek, the original series.
No.
She was basically Kirk's secretary.
Oh, her. Okay. Yeah. No fucking way. Look at that. May 1st, yeah.
Yeah, she's the cute white chick in the red dress.
How old was she?
The 85-ish? Yeah, 85.
Yeah, she lived a full and happy life. I'm happy for her.
She lived long and prospered.
She did.
Damn right she did.
She made it into the movies. I think she was actually promoted to captain. So, her character had a good life as well.
Mm-hmm. Guys, let's take a moment's silence.
I also heard B.B. King died, but apparently that was false information.
He's in a hospice right now, so he's not in great shape.
He's not in great shape. We're going to upgrade him to alive.
I actually saw him a couple months ago, maybe? I don't know, a while ago. I actually saw him at the LA theater. But I saw him there. It wasn't the same person. Like, he just looked tired now.
When that guy goes, man, a piece of blues goes with it. I can't think of anybody else that's, like, alive that I so associate with a genre or a genre associated with one guy. And when that guy goes, a piece of the blues goes with him.
A huge piece, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know, when you hear something like that after a legend is... You know, he's dying. I hate to say it like that, but he is going to eventually pass, and it just sucks that we're seeing it happen slowly.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? The best way that I could think of to immortalize this man is to understand his music, and maybe not even understand it, but just to hear his soul and who this person was throughout his entire life through his music, his art. So I just downloaded a buttload of it the other day, and that's all what I'm listening to when I'm making my deliveries.
Nice. What are you delivering?
Pizzas for Father John Pizza, if people can get that.
Father John Pizza?
Yeah, because I can't really say,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
I
there
got
you
you.
go. There
Okay,
you go.
I see what you're saying now.
Jamal, you smart enough for that one? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I'll explain it to him later.
Okay, thank you.
Father
Nice.
John's. It sounds like a pizza that'll grow up you afterwards, like in like the choir room or something.
Right? They go, oh boy, you want some pizza? No, I'm good.
Father John's Pizza, the only pizza that comes in your mouth.
Ooh.
Open your mouth, baby.
How did we
All
get to
right.
this from the sad situation that BB
Yeah, I
King
don't
is
know,
in?
Alex. You're gonna have to cut a lot of this out. Speaking of getting cut out, apparently I was bleeped last week. What the fuck is this?
Okay, being a writer, I feel censorship is bad.
I guess my main question is how offensive was it?
You haven't heard it? I posted it. You can go onto the website. Thanks for this little segue. You can go to the website mof.ninja and listen to the first 3 shows. I did bleep Mario when he went on his little tirade about the word that Charlie Sheen can say that no other white man can say.
Oh, right.
Oh.
See, it was a wonderful bit. It was wonderful, and I laughed the second time I heard it too, which shows you how great of a tirade this was. And it was genuine, and I loved it. It's the only thing that I did bleep because we do drop some f bombs, and I'm fine with that. And I say that this is an explicit show, but that was just the one word that I'm a little afraid of, I guess I can say.
No, it's cool. I totally agree. I was just curious when I said something offensive.
Outside of that, you did say it a multitude of times, like 5, 6 times, and I was very tempted to not bleep out the last one and just have it be a very kind of sharp sting to your ears. But then I was advised that that might not be the best course of action. So I went
Wait,
ahead,
5, 6 times he said that?
something like that. Yeah, listen to the show.
Mario, man, I think you got some stuff you need to work out.
Some issues.
What? Why'd you put that evil on me? That wasn't my fault. That was Charlie Sheen's fault.
Okay, sure.
Well, technically, it's not Charlie Sheen's fault. It's the comedian who claims that Charlie Sheen can say this, and then it is also your fault because you reenacted the comedian's diatribe about what Charlie Sheen can and cannot say.
Did the comedian say it 5 or 6 times?
Yeah, and the comedian is black. I was just reiterating. That's all it was.
So I do feel a little bad for bleeping and censoring you, but then again, since this is the advice that I'm getting, I'm going ahead with it.
No, trust me, I totally understand.
Or because we want to appeal to mass audiences and a diverse audience, maybe you just cut the whole thing out.
No.
Okay.
All right.
So I'm not going to do that because it's real, it's genuine, it's fun, it's funny, and
I like how you switch between genuine and genuine at will.
and
No.
also I'm not the one who
It's
said
because Guido keeps telling him to do it.
it. It was all Mario. So if anybody has a problem with that, you can go over to Mario's Facebook page, which is Mario, the guy who says the N-word at will.
Go on. There's another part to it, and it's even more offensive.
I will just put a big bleep at the end of that sentence.
Okay.
Okay. So since this is May 4th, anybody have any new and interesting Star Wars news?
I just read a headline on one of my favorite nerd websites. It says the one of the anthology films, which is what they're calling the spin-offs of the Star Wars, was going to be Boba Fett's origin.
Yeah, they really want to do that story. And like there was supposed to be a live action TV show that was supposed to be his story, and that never came to be. And then there was supposed to be a game that was his story that never came to be because Disney bought out LucasArts and then canceled everything they were doing, which really sucks. I really wanted to see 1313.
No, totally, I agree with you. Like the whole, I think it's a really cool idea if they would do a background story to something like that. But
See,
It's
the story I want to see, which I think would really be cool, and they could do it either cartoon or real life. I'm thinking about doing it as a short myself. Would be the backstory of Obi-Wan Kenobi between Sith and Hope, where he's hunting down old Jedi tech and Jedi relics to keep them out of the hands of the Empire, the Sith, and generally just idiots who want a
yeah,
lightsaber. So I thought what would really be cool is this is where he kind of descends into madness because he's alone. He's hunting down the relics of all his friends, and all these things are very personal items to his friends who have all been killed off by the Empire. And then the items themselves, probably mostly lightsabers, can be infused with the Force and with the spirit of the people who wielded them, and then kind of talk to him, and then just kind of float instead of sitting on shelves or something. He just has a room in his little cave that glows, and it's all these Force items that all the Jedi have used, and they kind of talk to him and make him go a little crazy. So when Luke Skywalker finally meets him, he is that old crazy Ben Kenobi hermit.
hmm.
Yeah, it's not a bad
Yeah. No,
idea.
actually, I didn't even think of that one before. I mean, that actually would be pretty sweet.
And I want to do it as a throwback to the 80s buddy cop films, and he should have a partner
Oh, fucking kill yourself.
who is Chris Rock, who plays the ghost of Mace Windu.
Window. You
Or
just
Mace Windu.
or
uh,
you could just go ahead and make a short film about Lando Calrissian and win back all the fans that Mario is offending.
I could do that. Is he supposed to be in the new Star Wars, or did they cut out another black guy?
I
I
honestly don't
don't know.
even know what's going on with that one because there's been a lot of reiteration that yes, he is going to be in there, and then a lot of people saying no, he's not going to be in there. I haven't read anything that he's formally going to be in there yet.
Yeah.
So maybe is a solid answer right now.
Well, I hope in the next trailer, if he's going to be in there, that they show him.
I would think that in today's day and age, where like all this kind of like information and stuff is being leaked regularly, if he was in there, we would have heard at least some rumbling about it. I have heard absolutely nothing to the effect that Lando is going to be in the new one.
This is true, but I think they try to do things to like throw you off the trail, so they they let things leak that aren't necessarily true. They try to keep things hidden that are true. So it's kind of a misinformation thing, kind of like what the government does with like Area 51. They make the people who see things sound crazy, so you don't believe the truth. And I think that's kind of what's going on here, is that they want to keep this secret, so they put out misinformation. They keep behind information, so everything's really surprised when you see it. On
Hang on. This is a great way to actually get to know Alex. Alex, what is the truth behind Area 51?
As far as I'm concerned, first off, the term UFO is unidentified.
Here we go.
No, no,
Fucking here we
no.
go.
UFO is unidentified flying object. Anything that flies around in the air that you don't recognize can be considered a UFO. So, case in point, if you see a frisbee flying by and you never saw a frisbee before, that's a UFO. UFO does not necessarily mean something from space. It just means something that's flying that you don't recognize. Now, what comes out of Area 51 are probably experimental aircrafts, because where else are they going to fucking make the SR-71 Blackbird or the B-52 bombers or the stealth bomber? They're going to need a large place with, where you can see for miles to see if anybody is spying on you, and that has pretty clear skies, so nobody's hiding up in the clouds trying to spy on you. And that's what Nevada is. That's what Arizona is. The desert is pretty cloudless. So it would make sense for them to put an experimental facility in the middle of nowhere. And the people who see things flying out of there, these objects that fly that nobody knows what they are probably
Oh
experimental
no, the
aircrafts.
aliens are getting to him. The aliens got to you. Did you hear that? The audio started cutting out.
Yeah, yeah, they probably are. But
So less ET, more Skynet.
yeah, well, Foxfire if you want to go with Clint Eastwood movie. But yeah, you choose your science fiction of choice.
Speaking of
Okay.
Skynet, back in Tucson, where we're all lived at one point in time, the Channel 4 or Channel 9, I forget what it is, news, they actually have a network of cameras that watch the city for the weather. What do you know what they've named that set of cameras after?
Yes, because anybody who lives in Tucson, Arizona has seen the billboards that says basically Skynet is watching you.
Oh,
True, very true.
I, I haven't been home in that many years then.
Yeah, no, there's billboards that, K-Gun 9, Skynet, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? Have you never watched a movie before in your life?
Yeah,
Let's take this opportunity to move away from Star Wars,
Okay.
nerd.
and we'll go into Big Man Japan.
Oh, I lost my beer. Oh, here it is.
The most professional show on the internet, folks.
Oh, I never said I was a professional.
Neither did we. So, Big Man Japan, since you requested this one, Mario, did you want to go first or do you want to go last?
I want to hear what you guys say.
Okay.
Okay.
You can go ahead, Jamal. Go first.
You're probably really big on all the weird giant stuff and whatnot. I'm going to be honest. I focused in on different things in this movie. I really like the way this movie is shot from the way they do a documentary style. Just the choices of where they're shooting from, the angles, everything. My favorite part of this movie is the beginning, where we're following him through his daily routine. I mean, just and when they're following him up to the facility where he actually becomes a giant. I just really appreciate the way this movie was shot. The cinematography in it was great. I like the actor. It's really difficult to be on there and to do non-dramatic acting to make it really seem like it's just normal everyday life, because normal everyday life is boring and nobody wants to pay to see that. But he strikes a decent medium where sometimes he really does do that, and sometimes he gets proper affectation is to really keep you interested and see that he's putting forth a performance, not just kind of like sitting there reading back lines to you.
I will admit I did like the beginning of this movie as well. I like the juxtaposition of the mundane life that he leads, leading up to him being literally larger than life and being a hero. That is amazing, and I know some people really have a problem with that because it's very slow and it's very methodical. And you're watching, and the first time I saw this movie, I was so bored out of my mind. It was I was watching it with this guy, a roommate that I used to have, this homeless guy that
Oh, fucking what's his
John,
name?
homeless John.
John. Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
him.
So John showed me this, and we're watching it on DVD. He had a huge DVD collection. He was homeless, but he had a DVD collection, and I'm not even going to go into that right now. So I'm watching it for the first time, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so boring. And then you see him standing in the giant underpants, and I'm like, what the hell? And then he's big and he's battling the kaiju, and I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. That first part was brilliant. You don't appreciate it until stuff actually starts happening, and then it goes back to that, and then you're like, oh, this is so boring. But you know that the whole thing is built on suspense, the suspense of something happening, and then you start seeing the reactions of the people, and the people are like, he's an idiot, he's a loser, we don't need him, he needs to go away.
With the scene where he's in there having dinner or something, and they're throwing rocks through the window.
Yeah.
That was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah. Well, have you guys ever seen the I think it's Swedish or Scandinavian or Swedish film called Troll?
Yes.
I've heard of it.
Okay.
I've heard of it.
This is an amazing little film, and it's almost like Big Man Japan, where the very beginning of it is it's all done documentary style. Which, by the way, Big Man Japan, I love their version of the documentary because they don't do what we see nowadays with like Paranormal Activity or anything, where people put up security cameras and use that footage and have 24-hour surveillance of everything that's going on. This is actual like a documentary where the camera's on, you do your thing, and the camera guy goes home and nothing is shot. And
And,
and
and they follow you from day to day life. I just love that
yeah,
scene where he goes to the facility where they follow him up the mountain.
yeah.
Oh, that was so cool.
But it's done like an actual documentary is. And before that, the only movie that I saw that was done like an actual documentary was the Blair Witch Project, which the way that was shot, I like that. I mean, they did
Still
have
can't get through that movie.
they did have the line in it, the obligatory cliche mock documentary line of we have enough battery power to power a small country. You have to throw that in there to explain why you're wherever you're at and you have all this battery power.
Oh,
But
definitely.
but nowadays they're putting in security cameras to watch the film crew in their hotel, and I saw that in a mockumentary, and I'm like, no, that's dumb. Why would you do that?
No,
And
no, 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 no. Well, hang on. Blair Witch was like found footage type stuff. Big Man Japan is like something you would see in.
no,
Uh,
I'm not talking about the storyline. I'm talking about the way it was shot. It was
no,
shot
no.
like a
That's
documentary where when you slept, cameras weren't on. You had to be woken by something, grab your camera, turn it on, and then whatever it was had gone, and then you do your little confessional. I'm talking about how it was shot, and that's how it was shot. Even though it was found footage, whereas Big Man Japan was intentional, I'm talking about exactly how it was shot.
no, no. Hang on. Blair Witch Project was a bunch of people with cameras documenting what they were going through. It was. It didn't seem professional. Whereas Big Man Japan is something you would see on history, or that was the style in which it was done with. There was kind of like a professional flair to it. Whereas Blair Witch Project, kids go into the woods with cameras to tell a story. That's it.
Well, the Blair Witch Project was students, whereas Big Man Japan were, like you said, were professionals. And like I'm saying, just the way it was shot seemed more like an actual documentary. And before that, the only mockumentary would be like the Ruddles or the This Is Spinal Tap. So those three films plus Big Man Japan plus Troll are the only ones that I've ever seen that were not actual documentaries that are actually shot like documentaries. But Troll is like Big Man Japan, where it's a lot of and you hear kind of the filmmakers kind of laughing and making fun of this guy when he's out in the woods doing his hunt, and then all of a sudden you see the trolls, and the trolls are huge. The trolls are like Big Man Japan. They're like 10-story buildings or something, and this guy's bringing them down, and all of a sudden the story, it goes from this kind of boring a day in the life of to this extraordinary, kind of thing. And I'm just saying that those films feel like actual documentaries because of the way they're shot and the way they're approached.
Okay, okay. Clearly, you and I have singled in on the documentary part.
Yeah.
One of us is a absolute fanatic for Big Man Japan. Mario, take it away.
I love the movie.
Before Mario talks, have you guys ever seen
You too.
the Herzog film about him looking for the Loch Ness monster?
I have not.
No.
No, no, I have not.
I'm not going to say a word about it. Just watch it. It is an amazing film.
What was the
Okay.
name of it?
It's Herzog's. He's searching for the Loch Ness monster. Just look that up and you'll find it.
Okay, okay.
Okay, okay. Back to Mario and
But
Big Man Japan.
yeah, go ahead, Mario, with your big man.
Yeah, I love the movie. That's one reason I actually suggested it. Um, other than it being honestly, it's one of my favorite films, just because of essentially what you guys have been saying. It's this mockumentary movie. Excuse me. It's this fantastic mockumentary that you like. It's painful. Don't get me wrong. The first time I saw it, I was just like, all right, I get it. This guy's a piece of shit. Like the first 10 minutes, I was like, okay, I get it. This dude, he sucks at life. And then once it goes more and more into it, it was just like, oh shit, that's why these people hate them. And you think about it, like that's exactly how humans would act toward this guy who's, essentially a superhero. He's saving Japan in general. He's essentially Godzilla. He's giant, he's misunderstood, and he's able to save that area from whatever that company, I forget the name of it off the top of my head, what that company was doing and making these different creatures, and he was just a guy. That's it. He's a guy with the ability to do these things, to save the world, let's say, just for all intents and purposes.
A nice touch about the film is that he is in a long line of people who've done this. They talk about his grandfather, the fourth,
Yeah.
and he's actually on there, and he's a little more senile when we see the grandfather
Right.
fight alongside the grandson. But he's in a long line of this, and the grandfather was celebrated, but he's not. So that adds to kind of the realism that he's not living up to his
Exactly. exactly. And the creatures back in those days, they were creatures. They were something to be afraid of. Now it's a thing with a intestine that has an eyeball on it.
The one-eyed monster.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like okay, cool. It can do some damage, but there's no real threat to it. It's just there.
It's one of those things that, if left unattended to, would destroy the city. However, we have this lame ass superhero who can take care of it.
Exactly. So they're going to utilize him.
Basically, the big man Japan is penicillin.
Yeah, I mean the world can take care of itself. Son of a bitch! I just found the cable that I wanted. Um, but they don't need him necessarily, but or they don't want him, but they need him, and nobody realizes that because he does do more damage than he does help. And it's not under his fault, but after years and years and years of him just being dejected and just the shell of a man, how can he find love in the job that he was bred to do when no one does give him the recognition that 2 generations ago everybody knew his grandfather, everybody worshipped him, they praised this guy. Now kids throw rocks at him, and it really it was great. I Again, like I said, one of my favorite movies. And then, it eventually goes on to, nobody still likes him, but they're okay with him now. And that there was no better payoff than the very end. Because you just feel so bad the entire movie. And not only that, but it's slow. And so you're just watching this happen the entire time, and then eventually it gets to the end. And so when this end does happen, you're just like, what the fuck just happened? Like, why did it change all of a sudden? And it makes you feel good about yourself because, like, okay, he may be useless to the humans, but he's completely useful to these other beings who, although they don't view him as being useful at all, and the whole scene where he's like, I don't make a difference while he's trying to get on the beam, fucking lost it. I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. But these creatures who saw him as an as one of them was like, okay, you're not doing well in your society. Just join us. You may not do the best, you may not be there, but you'll be accepted here.
Well, in a way, that is the fine line that any hero walks. If you think about the Marvel Avengers and how much damage they do to a city, and Jamal tried to talk about this a few weeks ago.
Wait, hold on, Alex. Bleep it right here, because I had too much beer and I need to take a piss. I'll be right back.
You remember Byline?
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, I stole the decanter and the glasses from that movie.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually ended up getting a couple other decanters, so I have a nice little collection and nice little bar in the office.
Nice.
At least something good came about that movie.
Um, you know what? As bad as that movie was, I still think Ninja Quest was worse.
Jesus Christ, it was, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you actually go back and watch it?
Ninja Quest?
Yeah.
No.
I watched it, but I was like skipping around. It was boring.
It is boring. I posted it onto the website so people can see the horribleness, and I'm looking to get a new computer, a new Mac, and when I do that, I'm going to see if I can re-edit it and see if I can make it better.
Director's
Nice.
cut.
Yeah, kind of a director's cut. Make it more of a grindhouse than what it was.
You don't actually have access to all the stuff that you might have cut out, right? Like that was for Pima.
No, I got all the raw footage.
Really? Nice.
Most of it anyway. I don't know if I have it all. I don't know if anybody they never organized it properly, which is kind of why the edit was what it was, because it was hard to find what you were looking for.
Yeah, that brings up a good point. You were director, but after that, it was basically this was a school project, so everybody else kind of there was an editing class doing it and a
Well,
sound class doing stuff.
let me explain it from the beginning. So there's 2 classes throughout the first semester. There's a cinematography class and a videography class. The videography class is each person is a producer and they have to produce a film. The cinematography classes, the entire class is a unit, and we produce one film. So there's a couple producers, there's one director, there's one cinematographer, there's cameramen, all the positions are filled. So this was part of that class. This was the big assignment, the more professional one with the big crew. And then all you do that first semester is shoot it. And then the second semester is where the editing happens. That's in the post-production class, and that's where we edit that movie. And yes, there's also a sound class that happens during that first semester that's separate from the production class. So those people learn how to do the sound mixing, the sound recording, the on-set sound recording, and operating the boom, which I did that on Snowbirds, which came after Ninja Quest. I operated the boom. Which, when I say I operated the boom, I just held a stick.
Well, what I was trying to get at is what were you two guys' involvement in there? Like you directed and then you did what? Did you help? Did you have an active hand in editing it?
The rule for the post-production class is that if you were the director, you could not be the head editor. And the rule for the production class was if you were the writer, you could not be the director. So
Okay.
I guess if you were the writer, you could be the head editor. That had never came up before, I guess. So nobody ever had to deal with it. So I was part of that class because I wanted to help in the editing process. And there were like 4 or 5 groups that edited. But they always said our group did the best. But when it came down to choosing an edit to go into the movie, they never chose our group. What we did is we split the movie up into like 6 different sections, and then each group would do section 1, and then we would watch all 5 groups edit at the end of on class day, and we would vote on which one we liked, and then the head editor would put that in as the movie. So the head editor would be in charge of doing whatever it is. So a lot of times it would be, we really like what group 7 did, but we like these elements of group 5 and group 6. So then the head editor would have to put all that together in a pleasing manner. So that would be the first thing we'd see in the class, and then we'd discuss whether we liked that or not, because our head editor was bad, so he would just do what he wanted instead of doing what the class wanted. So we had to do a whole half hour of complaining about his work, and then we would watch all the other.
Who's the editor? Who's the editor?
That really weird religious guy.
Oh yeah.
With didn't he have a lisp or something?
Yeah. I forget his name. Fuckface. I forget his name.
Yeah, he was like a Mormon or something, and he didn't want any swearing in the movie. And he sent me an email, and I will grant him, he's a very educated man, and his email was very succinct and was very well written and well stated. And he said, basically, I'm religious. A lot of people in Arizona are religious. We would appreciate it if you didn't put any swearing in there. If there is swearing, then my family's never going to watch this. And my reply was, the only real religious part, the only right-wing part of Arizona is North Arizona. We're in the South, so your argument there is invalid. As far as your family going to see it, wouldn't they support you no matter what you did? The script stands as it is. Because being a writer, like I say, I don't like to censor, but sometimes you have to. And I too actually would have liked a script that didn't have any swearing in it, but it contextually felt right in the story, so I didn't question there being swearing in it.
Mario, what were you?
Okay.
What were you on that? I remember the cinematographer guy that he seemed to be a dick. By the way,
what was I on that? I was drunk, is what I was.
I know. Well, I know that you seem to be the only one that was actually enjoying himself there. I had a blast acting, but you're the only one that was having like a grand time.
Oh fuck yeah! No, see, I already did my part of movies. I did Todos Almas and Esteban's Ride, which was I was in the sound class for those two. Did those, had a lot of fun, learned a lot from those classes, and then after that I did in the cinematography class. What the fuck did I do for the cinematography class? I think it was what was before Byline.
Was that the horror ones?
Oh, the Chainsaw Massacre.
Chainsaw Massacre. That's right. I was the first AD on Chainsaw Massacre.
What were you on Ninja Quest?
Drunk.
He worked in the lab, so the lab guys had to be on set just in case we needed something. If we needed
Oh,
somebody to
okay.
run to the lab and pick something up, those were the guys because they had the key, and Dave wasn't doing anything because I think Dave. Anyway, Dave wasn't going to go do anything.
No, because Dave gave up immediately once he figured out what kind of class was shooting that.
Mm-hmm.
He just said, "Fuck it, it's not my job."
Well, you do
And
realize that first day on the set, the first shot, the cinematographer and I almost got into a fist fight.
yeah, I know. Guess who got behind the scenes photos of it? Oh, that's what I did. Other than getting drunk, I did behind the scenes photos.
That's right.
I remember you. There was an argument where we were at the warehouse as well.
The first night was at the warehouse, but I don't think you were there. We were doing the outside the warehouse stuff.
Yeah.
You were arguing about how the shot that how you were gonna. I forgot. Ryan's character, was it Ryan?
Yeah.
When he was coming up from beneath the car or something like that, or when he was
Oh,
grabbing the legs.
yeah, I guess you were there then, because that was that night.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, and I did not like him after that. He seemed like a dick.
It basically was a pissing contest at that point, and I knew that, and I knew backing down was not the thing, but I also knew hitting him wasn't the thing to do either. So, I kind of got stuck.
Yeah, well, no, fuck that guy for not being a collaborator. That's what movies is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people working together to get something done. And when you become a dick like that and you become a tyrant, you kill that sort of spirit that makes a movie good. When people are really willing to work together and make something better.
Yeah. Well, part of the thing was he lied to us. He said he could do a setup in 10 minutes, and every one of his setups took at least an hour. He told Dave at one point that I was unapproachable or unattainable, that he could never get a hold of me. And I spent all of my time after class and a lot of time before class in the lab. So if he really wanted to talk to me, he could have come into the lab and talked to me. It's not, and for some reason he actually had an issue with coming into the lab, and I don't ever, to this day, I don't know what that issue was. So he was the one who made the whole situation difficult. And
So he's not just a fucking dick. He's a prima donna.
kind of, yes. And
Okay.
the thing is, though, I've worked with him before and we got along and we had a good time. I worked with him on one of Chris B's films, the workout one that she did. Do you remember that one, Mario?
No.
Hey, wait, was it part of the there was a showcase before, or was it during with Ninja Quest where you guys showed a bunch of your short films? Mario, I did your film where I was running through the one we shot at Pima.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was in
yeah.
that one too, and Chris B's was in that one as well.
Yep.
It's a very cool concept, by the way. I like the animal mask we were wearing during that.
God, it was such a bloody mess, though. Fucking Christ.
It was really cool to have that whole place to ourselves, though. I'm not gonna lie, it was really nice having that whole place.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It was cool to have that entirety to ourselves. But the end result, God, I was not happy with it.
It was fun, though. You have to admit it was fun.
Yeah, it
And
was a lot of fun.
and you know what? I just found that I found the Blu-ray of all of those films from that year,
Nice.
and I watched it recently. So I just saw yours 2-3 weeks ago, something like that.
Oh, cool.
And it's fun. It really is fun. If you take a step back from it and remove the prejudice that you have of it, it's a fun little film. It's exactly what he wanted. He wanted something non sequitur to make the audience say, "What the f was that?" And that's exactly what you did.
Yeah.
You guys are never gonna look at your work objectively. You're gonna see it and see all the things that you should have done here or you could have done there. You're never gonna satisfy yourselves. Just
Oh no, definitely. But at the same time, it was another really twist of the knife is when I went to the first Fridays at what's it called?
The Loft.
The Loft. Thank
the
you.
loft.
Jesus Christ, I haven't been in Arizona for so long. But I was doing that, and then just everybody. I mean, they didn't boo me, but immediately after mine played, the guy that was doing the playbacks and everything, he played the Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, the
from
full retard.
yeah, the full and they played that, and I was just like, I'm done. I fuck that film now.
Okay. I put Cliche into the first Friday shorts, and it was the 15-minute version, and I knew it was going to get booed. The guy who was in charge of gonging it, and for those of you who don't know anything about the Loft, First Friday shorts are a monthly contest where you submit a film, you have 3 minutes of viewing time, and after 3 minutes, the little red light comes on, and if you don't like the film, you can boo it, they gong it, and then they move on to the next film. The guy who was in charge of the gong did not want to gong Cliché. He wanted to watch it. He couldn't watch it because the entire audience was booing it because it's a popularity contest. If you don't bring enough people to cheer for your film, you're never going to win.
Yeah.
So he wanted to watch it, and he ended up gonging it at some point. It was like 10 minutes in almost. We didn't quite get to the Michael Bay shot, but he really liked it. He was impressed that I actually did a narrative, first off. He actually said that. He's like, wow, that's like an actual film. Secondly, he's like, he asked the guy in the booth what he thought of it, and the guy in the booth played the Robert Downey Jr. to Never Go Full Retard. And he's like, no, don't play that. He's like, you didn't go full retard. He actually made a film here, which is more than what most of these people bring in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that guy's defending me. That's pretty cool. And then I brought some other films in, and the last one that I did that I brought in there that they booed, that one kind of affected me like it affected you, and I haven't been back yet. And
what was it?
The one I did?
Yeah.
I want to say it was Acrophobia, but I don't think it was that one.
Was it Manic, the one where the psycho kid, the reporter?
No, it wasn't that one. I knew that one was going to get gone because nobody's going to really understand it. I haven't been back in probably pretty close to a year, and our friend Bob keeps submitting stuff and keeps asking me to show up, and I keep telling him that I will, and I keep forgetting.
Yeah.
Hey, you got to send me some of those the shorts you did with Ninja Quest, like the ones we were talking about. Some of them are really good.
I think the ones that I have were the year before, because it was the one that you were in with Mario. It was Cliché. It was Santi's film. What was that one? Letter of Intent or something.
Is there one in there about the dancers, the ballerinas, or whatever that were on stage?
No, that one I don't have. That one was, I think, the next year.
That was directed by a girl, I remember. I forgot her name.
That Chris Bees was in that one because she played the dancer, but she wasn't the one who directed that.
I gotta admit, that was really really good.
You do realize that Chris Bees was the lead ballet dancer for the Boston Ballet Company, right?
Well, no, it's not the dancing. It's the way it was shot. I mean,
No. The shooting was awesome. But our friend who we did film with, who if you remember that one film that Dominic did, that Chris Bees was in, that woman was the lead ballerina of the Boston Ballet Company.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So she has some credentials, and she peaked at like 18 or something, and for some reason moved to Tucson, bleached her hair, and decided to get in the film.
Why not? Only live once.
And you know what she does now?
What?
She's a waitress at the Cheesecake Factory.
No.
Yeah.
Well, so is Javi.
Javi is as well, and that makes me a little sad.
Don't be. Who knows what long road we each have to take towards where we're going.
Well, that's kind of one of the reasons why, I wanted to do this podcast, because, I'm not really doing anything else. I picked a movie. Mario picked a movie. It's your turn.
Oh, wow.
So go ahead and pick a movie for us to watch next week.
You know what? I won't pick a movie. I'm going to give you guys an option to pick a movie, but I'm going to give you a caveat.
Well, Mario's not here, so...
Oh, well, you can text it to him, can you?
I'll just tell him what movie to watch. So go ahead and give me your decision.
My caveat.
Yeah.
No, my caveat. I'm not picking a movie. I'm going to tell you. You can pick any movie that's been nominated for Best Movie of the Year, but you felt was robbed of that. Like some other movie, not one that actually won Best Movie of the Year at the Oscars.
So a nominee that didn't win.
That you thought really should have won that award that year. And come back and we'll talk about why that movie should have won instead of the movie that did win.
All right, I'll text him and I'll let him know that.
Okay.
All right, thank you for joining us. On behalf of Mario, who somehow disappeared for some reason or another, and Jamal, I bid you good day.
Join the makers each week as they discuss film, TV, and pop culture. To learn more about them, go to mof.ninja. This is Jason Statham saying goodbye.